doubts of the disciples are dispelled. That is the best teaching, and that's the preferred method which Ramana Maharshi used to transmit enlightenment. But since I am here, and if I stand in silence for 1 hour, I have a feeling you people are going to be a mite disappointed, so I guess I'd better say a few words. I heard this story, which may or may not be true. It was in a talk about Ramana Maharshi, so it's an anecdote about Ramana Maharshi. The story is very instructive. It seems one day a gentleman went to Ramana Maharshi and expressed his feeling that he was not particularly interested in the who am I method of inquiry. He was a devotee who loved God, loved Narayana, and his preferred method was bhakti, devotion to God. So he asked Ramana Maharshi that I really am not so much interested in who am I inquiring, but I love Narayana. So is it all right? Ramana Maharshi says, according to the anecdote, I don't know how historically accurate it is. Ramana Maharshi said, yes, it's all right. Oh, it's all right. And then after death, will I go to Vaikuntha, the abode of God, Vishnu, Narayana? Ramana Maharshi said, yes, you will. Oh, I will. And there will I see Narayana? Yes, you will. Oh, I'll see Narayana. Yes. And will Narayana speak to me? Yes, Narayana will speak to you. Oh, God's going to speak to me. Narayana will speak to me. Yes. And what will he say to me? And Ramana Maharshi said, he'll say to you, find out who I am. Now that seems to capture the essence of Ramana's teachings, Bhagavan Ramana's teachings. You see, the core teaching of Advaita Vedanta is that you are Brahman, the existence, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda. When are you Brahman? Where are you Brahman? Will I be Brahman when I am in heaven? No. Wherever you are Brahman. There's no specific place we have to go to become Brahman. You don't have to go to the Himalayas, or even to Arunachala, or even to Tirupati or anywhere to become Brahman. You are Brahman wherever you are. When are we Brahman? When I'll die, after that I will become Brahman. Right now I'm a human being. No. You are Brahman exactly as you are right now. Some people think, I will be Brahman when I get samadhi, or when I get enlightenment. That's right. When I realize that I am Brahman, then only I am Brahman. No, not even that. Even when we have not yet realized, Advaita Vedanta makes this bold claim, even when you have not yet realized, even when we think that we are this body-mind, this thing, at this very moment, you are none other than Brahman. So there is no time limitation. No limitation that at this time you are a jiva, an individual being, and at that particular time you will become Brahman. No, no time limitation. No place limitation. No time limitation. You are Brahman wherever you are. You are Brahman whenever. At all times and at all places. Now that's nice. When we hear this, it's nice to hear, but we have a question. We sort of scratch our heads and say, if I may, the American phrase is rain on your parade. That's all right, but I don't feel it. I don't know it. I don't realize it. It doesn't seem to be real to me. That's our question. So our real problem boils down to this, that though it may very well be that we are Brahman right now, we are Satchidananda, we are liberated, it may very well be true. But I need to feel it. I need to know it. It needs to be real. That I am Satchidananda. So the whole thing about spiritual life, spirituality, is becoming aware of what we already are, according to Advaita Vedanta. The monks in the Himalayas, they have a nice phrase for this. What do you get when you practice spiritual life? When you're on the path of Advaita, what do you get finally? And the answer they give is very interesting. What happens in spiritual life, I'll give you the Hindi first and then translate. What happens in spiritual life, they say, praptasya prapti nivrittasya nivritti. What you have already got, you will get that. What kind of thing is that? What was never there goes away. The fact that you never body and mind, that becomes clear. That body and mind identity, that goes away. You never wear body and mind, and so the body and mind identity goes away. You always wear Brahman. That becomes clear, evident. So it's put in a very nice way. You get what you've already got. And what was never there goes away. That's the whole point of spiritual practice. Because we have this question, that I don't know I am Brahman. It could be that I am Brahman, but I don't know it. How do I know this? When that question comes, the whole question of spiritual practice comes before us. Spiritual practice, the subject was sadhana. That's the subject for today, practical sadhana. The Sanskrit word sadhana has two dimensions. Sadhyam and sadhanam. Sadhyam means a goal to be reached. Sadhyam means what I want. So I want to come to Arunachala ashram. So that's my goal, sadhyam. And for that I need a sadhana. Yeah. Swami Vivekananda once said that I'm fully convinced that when a baby cries, he's actually expressing the highest philosophy. It's only that we do not understand it. Yes. So, sadhyam is the goal to be attained, and sadhanam is the instrument or the method that we use. So I want to come to Arunachala ashram, that's sadhyam. And the car that I drive to come here, that's sadhana. So sadhana and sadhya, the method that we use and the goal that we are going to attain. What is the goal here? In Advaita Vedanta, the goal becomes very interesting. Because you already are Brahman. The goal is already attained. You are Brahman. Right? So what do you do? It's already attained. You don't need a method. All that you need a method for is to dispel the ignorance that you are not Brahman. That we strongly feel that there is something wrong, which Bhagavan Buddha called dukkha. We strongly feel that we are suffering. We strongly feel that though the scriptures tell us that you are Brahman, we strongly feel that we are not Brahman. This feeling, this is called ignorance in Advaita Vedanta, ajnana, that we do not know what we already are. So this ignorance has to be dispelled. Shankaracharya often uses in his commentaries a phrase, avidya kama karma. Avidya kama karma. Avidya kama karma means ignorance, desire, and desire-prompted action. This generates the network of samsara we are bound in. So avidya kama karma, what is this ignorance? I do not know I am Brahman. I do not know that I am truly infinite. I do not know I am Purnam, complete. That's ignorance. Not knowing this, it leads to the next thing, the kama, desire. I do not know I am complete, hence I want to be complete. So I feel if I get money, I'll be complete. If I get a relationship, I'll be complete. If I get a house and a car and the latest iPhone, I will be complete. I never am. Nobody ever has been complete in this way. But this persists, this persisting delusion. If I add something to myself, then I will be complete. Then I'll be fulfilled. I'll be happy if I get that particular thing or that relationship or whatever. And then I will be really, really happy and I don't want anything more. This delusion, this is kama. Where did it come from? Ignorance. Avidya, ignorance, and then kama. In between is error. Bhranti, or in Sanskrit, in technical terms, adhyasa. An error happens. See, when I do not know that it's a rope, then the possibility of making a mistake appears, that I'll think it's a snake. Not knowing it's a rope, I think it's a snake. If I knew it was a rope, I would never make that mistake. If I knew I was Brahman, I would never make the mistake of thinking I'm body and mind, even while experiencing body and mind. There's so numerous stories about how Ramana kept correcting this error. For us, that's Ramana Maharshi. If you ask Ramana Maharshi that, are you this thing, this body and mind, no matter how beautiful, somebody said it's the most beautiful face ever seen, Ramana's face. He would say, no, I'm not this thing. But we make the mistake that we are this body-mind. From that error comes desire. The body needs something. It needs food and shelter and warmth, especially in this cold weather. So I need food, shelter, and warmth. The mind has many, many more desires. The desires of the body are not particularly bad. The desires of the mind are manifold more. So I think I need them because I think I am the body-mind. And prompted by desire, we engage in action, kama, karma. Once we engage in action, we are caught in the network of karma. Results keep coming to us. Karma, phala. Good action, punya, merit, and you get happiness. Bad action, if you're particularly naughty, then it leads to papa or demerit, and the result is misery. And we are caught in this network of pleasure and pain, generated by our own merits and demerits. Those are generated by our own actions, good and bad. And the actions are generated by desire, and desire is generated by ignorance. So the root cause of our trouble, even though you and I and all of us are Brahman, that self which Ramana Maharshi speaks about, we are that. We are one with Ramana. We are one with Ramana Maharshi right now. We always were. This ignorance that we are not, this ignorance alone has to be dispelled. So all of sadhana, this is the one point I'm making. Sadhana, method to attain a goal, sadhyam. So all of sadhana is meant to attain a goal not of becoming Brahman. You are that already. The method is meant only to remove ignorance about the fact that we are Brahman. So this is the takeaway. Today all I'm going to speak about is the whole purpose of sadhana is to remove this ignorance. Not to make us Brahman, but to remove the ignorance that we are not Brahman. Not to make us all right, but to remove the ignorance that everything is not all right. So that's the goal of sadhana in Advaita Vedanta. Removing ignorance. Ignorance about what? Not about physics, chemistry, or computers. Removing ignorance about what we are. Now you begin to make a connection between what Ramana Maharshi again and again and again said. When you're listening to this talk, what's important here? Ramana Maharshi would immediately say the talk is not important. What's important is find out who is listening to the talk. So, again and again, Ramana Maharshi's central teaching, find out who am I, is exactly this. It is a sadhana for removing the ignorance, not to become Brahman, but to remove the ignorance that I am not Brahman. So the central sadhana, the method used is knowledge. Knowledge of who am I. Why is this central? Why not meditation? Meditation should be central sadhana. Or why not devotion? Why not elaborate rituals? Those are all sadhana, those are all methods. Why not all of those? Why only knowledge? Because it's logical. What is the problem? The problem is ignorance. If the problem is ignorance, follow me on this. If the problem is ignorance, the solution can only be knowledge. It's logical. If my problem is I don't know physics, what's the solution? Should I worship the physics textbook? No, the solution is knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of physics. If I don't know who I am, Advaita Vedanta is telling me, Ramana Maharshi is telling me that you do not know who you are. If you knew who you are, all your problems would be solved. If that is the central problem, then the solution will always be knowledge. Are you with me on this? How do we get this knowledge? Knowledge of who I am. The traditional method is, in Advaita Vedanta, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana means hearing. Literally it means hearing. Practically it means a systematic study of Vedanta. From a teacher, the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutras and numerous texts, Vivek Chudamani and Ashtavakra and Avadhuta Gita, Vedanta Paribhasha, and so many, Panchadashi, numerous, it's a vast body of literature. And yet in all of this, only one thing is going on. Ramana Maharshi, Arunachala Ashrama, and all that vast Vedanta scriptures, all of that is about only one thing. There's only one thing going on there, or here. What am I? Who am I? By the way, just a little clarification here. You know, when Ramana Maharshi says, who am I? Find out who I am. I would refine that question a little bit. We are to take the question as meaning, what am I? Because who am I, especially in English, the answer would be, I'm an American, I'm an Indian, I'm a Hindu, or I'm a Muslim or a Christian, I'm a Democrat or a Republican. Those are our identities. That's not what Ramana Maharshi was asking. Closer to what Ramana Maharshi is asking us to inquire is, what am I? Am I this thing of flesh and blood? This body? This is born and it ages and it decays and gets old and it dies. Is this what I am? Or the mind, thoughts, emotions, feelings, ideas, memories, desires. Is that what I am? Or something beyond these, body and mind? So that's the question that Ramana Maharshi is asking. Who am I means, what is the reality about this thing which I call I, myself? Another thing, you all know it very well. When Ramana Maharshi says, ask yourself, who am I? He is not asking for an answer. There's this famous nice Zen story. You know, the Zen teacher will give you a koan, a question, like a paradoxical statement, and you're supposed to meditate on it for hours and hours and hours together. So, for example, what is the sound of one hand clapping? So the student gets that koan and starts meditating. After some time, after a few hours, he comes, I've got the answer. The Zen teachers actually have a stick. Luckily, you don't have that here in Ramana Ashram. They have a bamboo stick on which they'll whack you on the head. Even, I've got the answer. And this teacher hits him on the head with that stick. Go back and meditate. Strange, you asked me to find out what's the sound of one hand clapping. I'm trying to tell you, you are hitting me. Anyhow, he goes back and meditates. The second time he comes running, even before he says anything, the teacher hits him with a stick on the head. Go back and meditate. And the final time he comes, he's calm and quiet, and his face is shining with deep inner peace, and the teacher doesn't hit him with a stick. The teacher bows to him and said, you've got it. So who am I is not meant to give an answer. You're not supposed to give an answer or write a thesis about it. Who am I? And that's not what Ramana Maharshi is asking. The central way of the method in Advaita Vedanta to get this knowledge is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Systematically studying and hearing Vedanta. Once you do that, the knowledge should arise from within. Manana and Nididhyasana are two other components. Thinking, reasoning. And Nididhyasana is meditation. They are secondary. This hearing is primary. Somebody asked me, hey, is it just listening to talks or studying something, listening, is that enough? Now that's a question that one must consider very carefully. Apparently the answer seems to be very simple. Listening can't be enough. Our primary urge is to Do something. Today's subject, sadhana. What am I supposed to do? Yet we understand, from what I have said, we understand doing something is not the solution. If you want to do something, remove the ignorance that you are not Brahman. And that removing the ignorance does not come from doing something, rather from knowing, from knowledge. And knowledge comes from listening, from study, from the knowledge which is transmitted by the scriptures or by the teacher. That has to come alive within us. So yes, I'll make a radical statement here. If you ask a strict Advaitin, is listening enough? It seems to be deep inside us, is that we have to listen to the teachings and then go out and do something. That's deeply ingrained in us. A strict Advaitin would say, listening is the final sadhana. The central sadhana is to listen to this teaching, because ultimately we want the knowledge which removes all others. Then what about meditation? What about bhakti? What about rituals? What about service and all of that? All of those culminate in this listening. All other sadhanas will culminate in listening to this truth. What is the truth? The Guru tells you that thou art. Tattvamasi. And we will get the realization, Aham Brahmasmi. So that this transmission from the Guru, the highest form of transmission is the silence which Ramana always bathed in and always radiated. That is the highest form of the teaching. Otherwise, one step lower is when the Guru teaches with words, the words of the Upanishads, that thou art. So listening is in fact the highest sadhana. In Advaita Vedanta, listening is the highest sadhana. All other forms of sadhana, whether it's Patanjali Yoga or Bhakti or whatever, you learn how to meditate, suppose Patanjali Yoga Sutras. You take up the book, you learn about meditation. Unless you actually go out and do meditation, it's not much good. You're a scholar of yoga philosophy, but you need to do that. You take up a book on puja. You learn how to do the puja. But actually, until you go out and do the puja, it will not give you a result. Advaita is different. See, I'm trying to emphasize the difference between Advaita and everything else. Advaita is different. Advaita is pure knowledge. You're not supposed to go out and do something. You're supposed to know it or understand. In fact, I'll put it in this way. We are in the realm of sadhana here. And I told you the goal of sadhana ultimately is not a positive goal to make you something. The goal is a negative goal to remove the delusion that you are not Brahman. Now, I'm reminded of what one Swami said in the Himalayas. Very nice. He says in Sanatana Dharma, in spiritual life, in eternal religion, there are only two ways. Only two ways. Jano ya mano. Jano means know it. Realize it. Get it. See it. That's jano. I can't. Then the other option is mano. Believe. You see, most people in the world today understand religion as faith. In this country, for example, the word used for religion, especially these days, is faith. What's your faith? Advaita Vedanta is not a faith. It's realization, it's knowledge, it's understanding, it's insight, it's getting it, jhano. Otherwise, until we get it, mano, okay, take it for granted that it is correct. What the scriptures are saying, what Bhagavan Ramana is saying, what all the masters are saying is true. I don't get it yet, but I'll try to get it. So that is the core practice. Listening to these teachings and trying to understand it. When we try to understand it, there'll be doubts. And these doubts are clarified in the second component of practice, which is mananam. Shravanam first. Mananam is thinking, reasoning it through. I have doubts. How can I be Brahman? What is Brahman? How can I be Brahman? When I reason it through, all the questions that come to our mind, all the questions that come to our mind have answers. It's a vast body of all these texts. All the questions that come to our mind have been asked at some time or the other, and the answers are available. That's mananam. At the end of Shravanam, we should, if we don't get enlightenment, at the very least what we should get is all these teachers, all these scriptures, they are telling me one thing: I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. That's what they're telling me. That's what it's all about. That's the end of conclusion of Shravanam. Then the problem is that doubts come. Mananam is the next stage. At the conclusion of Mananam reasoning, the first stage was, I know what the scriptures are telling me, but the problem was, I don't get it. I don't understand. I've got so many questions. At the end of the second stage, you will say, I know what the Upanishads and Vedanta is telling me, and now I understand it. I get it. But then what's the problem? I get it, but it seems to be an intellectual understanding. If I have the problem that it seems to be an intellectual understanding, I get it intellectually, but in my life it's not making a difference. I don't doubt it, what Vedanta is telling me, that in some sense, yes, I am Brahman right now, but it doesn't seem to be real to me. I'm still behaving like that old person. Then the third stage comes, nididhyasana, which is assimilation of the truth. Assimilation of the truth. By meditation on what you have got in Shravana in the first stage, what you have clarified in Mananam, now you say, I know what Vedanta teaches, I am Brahman, and I'm clear about it now, no more doubts. But it still has to become real to me. Then you meditate on that. Vivekananda says, tell yourself again and again that I am that, I am he, soham, till it tingles with every drop of your blood. Then it becomes real to you. Nididhyasanam. So that is the method, sadhana. Today's subject, sadhana. Let's see how I'm doing. Okay, we have time. Now what happens? Is this enough? Again, we scratch our head and say, Swami, I've been studying Vedanta for 30 years. What you're saying is fine. I've been coming to the Arunachal ashram for 25 years or 40 years. But my delusion is not gone. I'm studying it. I'm listening to it. I hear it all the time. I chant and I meditate on it, and all of that I do. Not clear. I mean, it's not becoming real to me. Then what do I do? Then Advaita Vedanta says, the problem is, it says vikshepa, they call it. The first problem was ajnana, ignorance. And the solution to that problem was Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. The solution to ajnana is jnana. Ignorance is always removed by knowledge. And how do you get knowledge? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Now, our complaint now is, it's not working. We've been trying it all this while, it's not working. What's the problem? Vedanta says the problem is vikshepa. The mind is not grasping it. The teacher transmits, we are blocked. The mind is scattered. It's unable to assimilate the teaching. It floats on the surface. So the problem is this flickering of the mind, this inability to assimilate. This is in Sanskrit, it's called vikshepa, the scatteredness of the mind. Scatteredness of the mind is the problem, then the solution will be concentration of mind. Scattered mind, problem. Solution, concentrated mind. And what is the method for concentrating the mind? Now we are on more familiar ground, meditation. So this whole science of meditation, according to Advaita Vedanta, is a sadhana, is a method of practice, no doubt. It is useful for concentrating the mind. So you have the whole science of meditation. Meditation is also a sadhana, but we must realize it's a method, a sadhana. What is the goal of that? According to Advaita Vedanta, the goal is not enlightenment. Enlightenment comes only from knowledge, jnana. But method of this meditation, the goal is concentrating the mind, focusing the mind, stilling the mind, so that the truth becomes evident. So that's meditation. That's also sadhana. But we must be clear what is the goal of that. It's a method, so method must have a goal, purpose. The purpose of meditation is stilling the mind, quietening the mind, focusing the mind. Okay, very good. We start meditating, sit with eyes closed and sit straight and breathe in this way and repeat a mantra, whatever. Problem. What problem? Swami, when we do that, two kinds of problems. Either we fall asleep, especially when it's nice and warm inside, or the other problem is the mind is scattered. Try to meditate. You're not meditating on Om or on Shiva or on my Ishtadevata, but the mind runs here and there. Scattered mind. Mind is disturbed, chanchala. Arjuna asked this question to Krishna in the 6th chapter of the Gita. The meditation methods you have taught me are useless. Arjuna says. Why? Because you might as well try to catch the wind. The mind is so restless. It's like trying to catch the wind. Now what's the method? The mind, why is this happening? Why is the mind not getting focused in spite of dedicated meditation? Vedanta says there is another tier of the problem, another layer of the problem. What is the new problem now? Chitta mala, the impurity of the mind. It's because the mind is impure. We have dumped garbage in the mind for years and years and years in our lives, and we believe in many lives. So many lives of garbage has accumulated. That's the meaning of the Augean stables in the myth of Hercules, who cleaned out the stables which were dirty. That's basically our subconscious. Because of the impurity of the mind, we are unable to meditate. So now the problem is impurity, chitta mala in Sanskrit. And what is the solution to impurity? Simple. Chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. How does purity of mind come? One very powerful method for purifying the mind is karma yoga, is unselfish action. There are many ways, but unselfish action is recommended in Vedanta. If you purify the mind, when the mind gets rid of its dross, then it's very easy to meditate. One Swami in the Himalayas said, Samadhi is very easy. I'll give you Samadhi in 2 minutes. You'll meditate for only 2 minutes, you'll get Samadhi. He said in Hindi, Shart hai lekin shuddh man lao. But there's a condition. I'll give you the deepest meditation, Samadhi, but come with a pure mind. Well, therein lies the trick. A pure mind, not so easy to attain. Okay. We'll pause here. I'll give you the big picture. What has been outlined so far. Remember, the subject is sadhana, spiritual practice. Why spiritual practice? Any kind of practice is meant to give you a certain result, right? So we have talked about 3 problems, 3 solutions, and 3 methods. I'm summing up what we have done so far. 3 problems, 3 solutions, 3 methods. What is the problem? Impurity of mind, chitta mala. What is the solution? Purity of mind, chitta shuddhi. What is the method? Karma yoga, unselfish action. With a purified mind, then you go to the next level. What is the problem there? Chitta vikshepa, scattered mind. What is the solution? Chitta ekagrata, concentrated mind. What is the method? Meditation. In Sanskrit, upasana. That's where bhakti yoga and raja yoga, meditation, Patanjali yoga, they become useful. That's the second level. Then the final level, the highest level. What's the problem? Ajnana, ignorance. What's the solution? Jnana, knowledge. What's the method? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. The essence of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is Atma Vichara. If you want to compress the entire method of Jnana Yoga into one term, is Atma Vichara. What Ramana Maharshi again and again and again said, find out who I am. If you ask a question about sadhana to Ramana Maharshi, he will not give you a 1 hour long lecture. What is the sadhana? Today's subject, if you ask Ramana Maharshi, he would have said, find out who is asking. Find out who is asking. In the Mandukya Upanishad 7th mantra, there's a term, very deep term used, Ekatma Pratyasaram. Atma Pratyasaram. Follow this I consciousness. Continuously we have this experience. I am speaking, I am standing, I am looking at you, I am thinking. But the standing, speaking, looking at you comes later. The constant is this I. And we experience it. This I is not the Atman. Let's be very clear. This I is not the Atman. It's a function of the mind. It's the ego. But in the ego is reflected the consciousness of the Atman. They call it in Sanskrit Chidabhasa. If you follow it back to the source, you'll come to our real self, that is Atman or Brahman. That is the highest sadhana. I'll take questions. So think about, if you've got questions, that's a much better way of discussing this. So let me just summarize what we have done so far. The whole problem is we do not know we are Brahman. If we knew that, none of this would be necessary. None of this would be necessary. Ramana Maharshi never ever asked, what is the sadhana? Why? He already got it. He's immersed in Brahman, in the real nature, in the self. So no need for sadhana there. That's the highest sadhana. To be always aware. Atmanam satatam janam in the Aparoksha Anubhuti. What's the stage of a Jivan Mukta? Always immersed in the bliss of the Atman, the vision of Atman, vision not in the sense of seeing this, that I am Brahman, is ever before that person. That person is no longer a person. He's one with Brahman. So that's the highest. So that's the purpose of sadhana, to become aware of our real nature. How do you become aware of our real nature? The question is, what prevents you? Ignorance prevents us. Take it in 3 stages. Ignorance, problem, solution, knowledge. Ignorance of what? The self. Solution, knowledge of what? The self. How do you get that? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. And the essence of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is what Bhagavan Ramana used to always say, who am I? Trace it back. Now the problem is, we say it's not working. Why is it not working? Then the second tier of the problem, mind is not ready. Mind is scattered. So scattered mind, problem, chitta vikshepa. Solution, you can tell me. Concentrated mind, chitta ekagrata. Method, meditation. Upasana, yoga. We're trying that. What's the problem? Fall asleep. Mind is running here and there, not working. Then what's the problem? Third tier, bottom tier of the problem. The fundamental problem, impurity of mind. Chitta mala. Solution, purity of mind. Method, one method is karma yoga, unselfish action. I hope you've got the metrics in your mind clearly about sadhana. This is from the perspective of Advaita Vedanta, Shankara Advaita. Sadhana is like this. Sadhana, is it required or not? Not required. You are Brahman. What sadhana do you need? So the only purpose of sadhana is to remove the ignorance that you are not Brahman. I'm reading out the matrix, which should be in our minds by now. Now what is the scope of sadhana? Ignorance, knowledge, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Scattered mind, concentrated mind, meditation. Impure mind, pure mind, karma yoga. What did I say? Problem, solution, method. The method is called sadhana. The solution is called sadhyam, goal. Sadhana method, solution is goal. And why do we need all this? Because we have these problems.
My question to you is, why mind seems to be different than Brahman? Though it's the same. Please, I need guidance.
Right. The question is, why does mind seem to be different from Brahman, though it's the same? Is the mind same as Brahman? In fact, Advaita Vedanta says yes. Not only is the mind same as Brahman, the body is also same as Brahman. You say, just a minute, Swami. Don't we always teach, we are not the body, not the mind, I am the self? That's the preliminary step of Advaita Vedanta. In non-dual Vedanta, remember the words, non-dual. If you separate the self, Brahman, Atman, from body, mind and universe, there's the universe out there, the world. Here is the body, I'm not the world, I'm not the body. The thoughts are there, the thoughts are also objects. I am not the thoughts, the mind. I am the witness of an ever-changing mind and body and universe. Now what I've done is a dualism. I've separated Atma from Anatma. Atma means the self, real self, and everything else is not me. This is not non-dualism. This is the first step to non-dualism. So when you say, is the mind same as Brahman? The first answer will be, no. The mind and Brahman are not same. Mind is different, Brahman is different. Atma is the witness of the mind. But that's only the first step. Once you realize Brahman, Atman, that I am Atman or Brahman, then when you look back upon the mind, and through the mind when you look at the body, and through the mind and body you look at the universe, the realization should be, I, the Atman, alone am all of this. Then only non-duality is established. This universe, body and mind are not second entities. Not second, not two, Advaitam. So I'm just confirming what you are saying, that the mind is also Brahman, body is also Brahman, the world is also Brahman. In what sense? When we mistake the rope for a snake, first we have to say it's not a snake, it's a rope. All right? Then you realize what the rope is. Once you realize what the rope is, then you also say what you saw by mistake as a snake is also the rope. Yeah. It's not that there are two things, one real rope and one false snake. There is no such thing as a false snake. That real rope alone appears as the snake. In fact, the Upanishadic examples of clay and pot are better. First, when you say it's a pot, the Upanishad says to you, Vedanta says to you, that, yeah, it's a pot, but there's a higher reality called clay. Oh, really? What's clay? You investigate carefully, this pot is made of clay. And when you investigate and understand what clay is, you realize every bit of the pot is clay. In fact, there is no second thing called a pot there. It is clay through and through. After you have understood that the pot is made of clay, every bit of it is clay, does the pot disappear? No, the pot is still there. Can you not still use the pot? You can still use the pot. Can you not call it a pot? You can call it a pot, though you know it's clay through and through. In the same way, when an enlightened person realizes his or her own identity as Brahman, then realizes the mind and the body and everything else is also Brahman. Now coming to the point, your question, why does it seem different? It seems different. I'll give you the answer at two levels. The first level is, it seems different because of names and forms. Let me ask you a question. This lectern, podium, is made of wood. It's made of wood. So why do you think it's called a podium? Why is it a podium? Because of the form, rupa. Because of the name, nama. Because of the function. It functions as a podium. Vyavahara. Nama, Rupa, Vyavahara give it a unique identity and use, and it seems to be a different entity. Similarly, when thoughts come, same consciousness, Satchidananda, but it takes a vritti, like a ripple coming on the surface of the lake, like a little wave coming, then we say it's a wave. It's still the same lake, it's the same water, but we call it a wave because it looks different now, it acts different now. So one reason why, surface reason why mind seems different from Brahman, body seems different from Brahman, world seems different from Brahman, is because of name, form and function. Nama, Rupa, Vyavahara. One word, Maya. One word used in Vedanta is Maya. Because of that. That's the preliminary answer. The real answer, you know what's the real answer? Why it seems to be different from Brahman? It seems to be different from Brahman because we do not yet realize Brahman. We don't know Brahman. The moment you know Brahman, you know in the sense not as an object. I am Brahman. You realize what is meant when Advaita Vedanta speaks about Brahman. When we realize that, then we also understand immediately how mind is also Brahman, body is Brahman, universe is nothing other than Brahman. The word used is, you have to use it carefully. All this is nothing other than Brahman. It's not exactly Brahman. Brahman is Satchidananda. And all these are appearances of Brahman. I can say the podium is an appearance of wood. I cannot exactly say the podium in itself is wood, because if you smash the podium, or before it became a podium, it was still wood. It was a log of wood. Right? But you couldn't call it a podium. So podium by itself is not wood. If podium goes away, has the wood gone away? No. Wood is real. Podium is a name, form and function of the same wood. So if you say, give me the answer in one sentence, mind, body and everything else appears to be different from Brahman because we have not yet come to a clarity about what Brahman is. After enlightenment, will the mind, body and world appear to be different from Brahman? Be careful about the words. Will they appear to be different from Brahman? Yes. They will appear the way they are appearing. But what about the enlightened person? To him also it will appear the way it is appearing to us. But the difference is that person knows without the least shred of doubt, it is Brahman, it's me. It is I shining forth in all these ways. There's no doubt about it. It's very clear in that person's mind. Yes. Yes.
Swamiji, thank you very much for your advice. Appreciate it. Speaking. I have a question about Satchit Anand in its context to Shunya. When I read a text here, particularly like Shri Devi, where she was speaking to Bhagavan saying, this is what's going on here, this is the unsupported Shunya. Satchitananda, to me, is being, bliss, and truth, Satya. How does Shunya fit into that? Because if you're a witness being, is the witness that Shunya? That Shunya the witness?
All right. The question is the relationship between Shunya, the void, emptiness, and the Vedantic formulation of Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. How are the two related? They seem to be opposite. How are they opposite? Being and non-being, is and is not. They seem to be opposite. That's why there's a big conflict between Buddhism and Hinduism. Buddhism seems to say there is no Atman. Find out who you are, the self. Buddhism seems to say there's nothing. What will you find? There's nothing. That you're not there. That's what you will find. And Hinduism seems to say you will find that you are the immortal Atman. Now they seem to be in conflict. They seem to be, but they are not. Actually, when you investigate deeply, when you see the most sophisticated formulation of Vedanta, which you find in Advaita Vedanta, and the most sophisticated formulation of Buddhism, which you find in Madhyamaka Buddhism of Nagarjuna, which is the central philosophy of Tibetan Buddhism, for example, Nagarjuna's conception of Shunyata, and Advaita Vedanta conception of the Turiya Brahman. To your amazement, you find the same language is being used. Gaudapada says the ultimate reality is Chatushkoti Vinirmukta, beyond the four alternatives. Nagarjuna says Shunyata is Chatushkoti Vinirmukta Tattvam, beyond the four alternatives. What are the four alternatives? Is one, is not two, both is and is not three, neither is nor is not four. And what's the truth? Neither of these four. Who says this? Advaita says this. Who says this? Buddhism says this. But Advaita calls the truth Brahman, Satchidananda, and Buddhism calls it Shunyata, emptiness. And it's beautiful actually. If you consider both, you will see both are talking about the same thing from different angles. One from a positive angle, one from a negative angle. Many scholars will not agree. Many traditional Vedantic scholars will say Buddhism says it's emptiness. I remember I once had this argument with one of my teachers who was a professor, retired professor of philosophy, a master of Advaita Vedanta, who's written texts. Nirodharan Chakravarti, he has a text called The Concept of Falsity in Advaita Vedanta. So I said Shunyata and Brahman are the same, isn't it? So isn't Shunyata the final truth? I was studying Nagarjuna at that time. And his answer was exactly what you said. But if Shunyata, the void or the emptiness, is the final truth, to whom is it the final truth? To what? There must be a knowing consciousness there. To even say it's empty. In that case, it is Satchidananda. So that's the traditional Advaitic approach. Now the way I formulate it is this. Swami Sarvapriyananda, one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, who wrote a classic book on the life and teachings of Ramakrishna, the great master, he says in that book, what they call emptiness, we call fullness. What they call shunya, we call purna. We call purna. How does that work? To me, the Nagarjuna, so the Madhyamaka formulation of Shunyata is precisely right. Advaita Vedanta, when it says Brahman, is precisely right. You see, it's this way. Buddhism seems to say that the ultimate truth is nothing, zero, shunyam. And Advaita Vedanta, if you read Vedanta, if you follow Vedanta, you seem to get a sense they're talking about something, within quotes, thing called Brahman. It seems to say. But the Brahman is not a thing. Brahman is the witness of all things and the absence of all things also. It's not an object. Objects and the absence of all objects are both cognized or both supported by the same Brahman. Brahman is neither something nor nothing. So what is the final formulation? It's not something, it's not nothing. I call it no thing. Buddhism seems to say it's nothing. Vedanta seems to say it's something. Both are not the final understanding of Buddhism or Vedanta, of Madhyamaka or Advaita Vedanta. The final understanding is Advaita Vedanta also clearly says Brahman is not a thing. It's no thing. Not nothing. It's no thing. Meaning thereby, it's not an object. I'll put it this way. Everything that we experience, all that we have experienced in life till now and whatever we'll experience in life, they are all objects. Oh, I have experienced Brahman. Have you experienced Brahman? Then it's an object. You have not experienced Brahman. You are Brahman who experiences that thing. That has to be understood. And I think they're good correctives to each other. Madhyamaka Buddhism and Advaita Vedanta. Madhyamaka Buddhism, Shunyavada, removes the misconception that Brahman is a thing. The ultimate reality is a thing. And Advaita Vedanta removes the misconception that it's nothing. It's neither a thing nor is it nothing. What's it? It's you. It's precisely you. You are the witness of all things and you're the witness of the absence of all things. That you. In fact, in Tibetan Buddhism, they have formulations which are very much like Advaita Vedanta. What is the ultimate reality? They call it the clear light of the void. When they say emptiness, they say it's empty of all things. I don't know if that clarifies things or makes it confusing. Yes. 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 You are precisely right. The whole problem at this level is language. Why is it a problem? Remember, language was never devised to talk about the ultimate. Language was devised to talk about our empirical world of Vyavahara, our transactional reality. The reality which we live in, where we talk and walk and eat and go out and do our jobs and enjoy our lives and suffer. All of that, language can describe beautifully. Language can even work up to the level of conventional religion. There is a God and there is a heaven and you are somebody who is devoted to God and will go to heaven. That also works. Language operates in the framework of time, space and causation. I think Wittgenstein, the great philosopher, maybe the greatest philosopher of the 20th century, he put it beautifully. In his book, Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, he put it beautifully. The limits of the world are the limits of language. Or the limits of language are the limits of the world. He put it beautifully. And he says, what lies beyond, we must pass over in silence. Limits of the world, this world of time, space and causation. Language is suited to describe it. But when you talk about something which transcends the reality of this world, that Satchidananda or that Shunyata, language cannot adequately describe it. That's why one of the things again and again said about Brahman is avang manasa gochara, which you cannot express by language, which you cannot express, cannot grasp by thought. You can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't smell it, taste it or touch it. You can't think about it, you cannot speak about it, you cannot understand it, you cannot remember it. Then how is it at all we're going to realize it? It's because you are it. So language does not work. Now the problem with teaching is, whether it's Shunyavada, Nagarjuna or Shankara, they have to use language. Upanishads are language. Now how can you express the inexpressible? How can we express the inexpressible? So the Upanishads in Vedanta and also in Tibetan Buddhism, they have devised techniques to get around this problem. What techniques? One or two I'll share with you. That's the ultimate. But language, how can you use language to express the inexpressible? There are some techniques are there. For example, you are saying that you cannot speak about it, right? You cannot describe it with language. Yes. All right. But what you can do with language and say what it is not. You can't say what it is. But can you say what it is not? Yes. That's the method of neti. Yeah. They call it the apophatic method, the negative method, the via negativa. Neti. Not this, not this. How does it function? This universe, everything that you see, hear, smell, touch, think, whatever you have thought about, whatever you have understood in life, whatever we may yet experience in life, all of that, A to Z, it's not Brahman. Okay? Then the next problem will be, if this is not Brahman, then what remains? Nothing. So Brahman is nothing? That's not Brahman either. It's not all things, it's not nothing. You are thrown immediately into silence. What is that silence? It's you. The real you. If you eliminate all things from your conception, self-conception about yourself, body, mind and identity, if you eliminate all things. Eliminate means in understanding. You will come to that. So that's one technique language has used. Upanishads have used. Neti. There are other techniques. One technique is where it's called implied meaning. We will not go into that. Lakshana, technique of implied meaning. That thou art, tattvamasi. That means Bhagavan. Thou means you. Now remove all the qualities of Bhagavan and remove all the qualities of the Jiva. What remains common to both of them is Satchidananda. So there are these different techniques which have been used. Highest of all the techniques is silence. That Bhagavan Ramana used again and again and again. But he could communicate. In our level of silence, we'll just fall asleep if you just sit quietly. But Ramana Maharshi could communicate the highest truth through silence. There's another question? Yes. I'll come to you. There's a question there. Yes. Yes. Right. Thank you. Amani Bhava and the Atman are one and the same. Here's one thing. Mindless state. What is Amani Bhava? Literally translates into not mind. But not mind, what does he mean? You have to be precise. You have to go deeper into that. Does he mean that I'll be just a zombie sitting here, catatonic? They'll put me in a hospital, in a facility. No. Whenever we have such doubts, one direct way of solving the doubt is looking at the lives of those people we consider to be enlightened. We know that Ramana Maharshi is enlightened. Look at his life. Was he able to function? Oh yes. Everything. From cooking food to teaching the devotees to feeding the cows and to everything. If you see his life, he could do everything that anybody else could do and more, much more than others. If you look at the lives of all enlightened people, they are fully capable of functioning. Are they in Amani Bhava? Yes. The deepest meaning of Amani Bhava is the Atman itself. See, there are two levels of understanding Amani Bhava. The surface level, the preliminary level is Samadhi. Samadhi, where the mind stops functioning, that which is beyond the mind, that remains. Patanjali says, Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the cessation of the modifications of the mind. And then what happens if the mind modification ceases? What happens? Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Third sutra. The witness self is appreciated in its real nature when the modifications of the mind cease. Imagine, I am standing, I am speaking, I am talking, I am thinking, I am feeling. If I drop the standing, talking, thinking, feeling, the pure I remains in itself. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. The witness self is appreciated in its real nature. That's what Patanjali says. That's one kind of Amani Bhava, where the mind stops functioning. At that level, if you say, can a person function in the world? No. The person will remain immersed in Samadhi. And Ramana Maharshi used to do that sometimes, especially at the beginning, before he went into the Sahaja. At the beginning, when he first got the breakthrough, what happened? Do you remember in his life? He remained absolutely immersed in the bliss of the self. In a nirvikalpaka avastha. Was he able to function? No. Somebody else had to come and take care of him and feed him. Otherwise, the body would have gone away. And it nearly did. Body was damaged. There's so many stories we read, how he went under the basement of the temple and stayed there. Unable to function. Because you're not even aware of the names and forms. You are immersed. If I say that clay pot, if you are immersed in the clay identity, you won't be able to use the pot. You're not even aware of it being a pot. It's just the clay. If you are immersed in Satchidananda, an infinite ocean of existence, consciousness, bliss, then I am a body and that is food. I have to take the food and put it in this body. That feeling will not be there at all. Then the body will deteriorate and die unless somebody takes care of it. So that's one kind of Amani Bhava. But there's a higher level. There's a deeper level. The Sahaja state which Ramana Maharshi inhabited after that. Where you can use the mind. If you use the pot to store water in it, is it any less clay? It's still clay, right? Every bit of it is clay. You can use water. You can store water, Ganges water in it. You can call it a pot. You can use it like a pot. You know all the time it is Satchidananda. You can use the mind and the body and function perfectly well in the world, better than anybody else. Look at Krishna, greatest karma yogi ever. Fully enlightened, all the time conscious of his divine nature. In fact, many of the enlightened persons, they function fully well in the world, better than most other people, and they were aware of their own divine nature all the time. That is the real meaning of Amani Bhava. And that's what Gaudapada means, ultimately. But this preliminary stage, one may not be able to function for some time. Sri Ramakrishna, for example, used to go into Samadhi every now and then. Then he could not function. He would stand like a picture. Often a description is, he was standing like a picture. Even his heartbeat would stop. So that is a Samadhi avastha. But in Vedanta they call a Vyutthana avastha. Coming out of the Samadhi, seeing the world and the body and the mind and knowing it all to be Brahman. When you realize that the ornaments are gold, the necklace is gold, the earring is gold, the bracelet is gold, but that does not prevent you from putting the necklace here and the earrings here and the bracelet here. You know it's all gold. You don't think that, oh, it's gold. I'll try to put the bracelet here and the earrings I'll try to put here. No. You know the name and the form and the use. But you know the reality is Satchidananda. It's still an ocean of Satchidananda. Yeah. That is the real Amani Bhava. The thing is, it's available to us right now. Atman itself is always in Amani Bhava. It's easy to realize Brahman, that we are Brahman right now. Right now. It's always available to us. Our only problem is, I think, I am the body trying to realize that I am Brahman. No. Are we bodies trying to realize Brahman? Or are we Brahman under the delusion that we are bodies? Are you a body with consciousness, or are you consciousness thinking it's a body? It's a body-mind. Vedanta says you are Brahman right now. You are Brahman right now. Just now. Only with the appearance of the mind and the body, through the mind we think we are this body. Change the sadhana in this way. From now on, think that I am Brahman. How can I get rid of this body identification? That body will still be there. Don't worry, body will not disappear. It will be there with all its problems, it will still be there. But I am not it. Are you aware of the body? Are you aware of the body now? Yes. Correct. Okay, do it step by step. Yes, correct. No, that's perfectly honest. That's wonderful. So there's a pain. If there's a pain in the body, are you aware of that? The pain in the body? Yes, of course. That's why I'm telling you. If you are aware of the pain in the body, who or what is the one which is aware of the pain in the body? Right now, I feel the body. What feels the body? You will say mind. What feels the mind? That which feels the mind and the body, that one is not the mind and body. That one is you. Vedanta says something incredible. We say, I feel the pain, so I am in pain. I feel the misery in my mind, so I am miserable. That's why I want to be spiritual. I want to go beyond misery. Vedanta says, if you feel the misery in the mind, then you are the knower, the witness of the misery in the mind. You are not miserable. If you look at this, you're looking at this podium. Are you a podium? No. You are the witness of this podium, right? Follow this carefully. You're looking at the podium. So are you a podium? No. You are the witness of the podium. The knower, you, and the podium, known, are two different things. In the same way, if you can regard the body just like you regard the podium, then you will see you are not the body. You are the knower of the body. Immediately your question will be, I know what is in your mind. But if you hit the podium, I am not hurt. But if you hit the body, I am hurt. There's a pain in the body. Follow this carefully. The pain, do you know the pain? Do you experience it? Yes. If you experience the pain is also no different from this object like a podium. It's also an object. You are the witness of the pain also. I'm not saying pain is not there. The very fact that you report the pain is there. That means you are aware of the pain. If you are aware of the pain is an object, you are the awareness. You are aware of the absence of the pain, you are aware of the presence of the pain, and very soon you will be aware of the absence of the pain again. That awareness is always free of pain. The awareness has no pain. It reports the presence of pain in the body. Think about that. Tell me when the time is up with that thing. I delight in this, so I can carry on all afternoon. Okay, there's a question there. You have to wind up, yes. Okay, that's the last question, yes.
I had a question about everything is so beautifully deconstructed, starting from sadhana,
Yes.
karma yoga, and the purifying of mind.
Yes.
How do you relate to that? How is it connected? How do we the unselfish service?
Right. Karma yoga, how does it purify the mind? There are two stages to it. One stage is dharma, a moral, ethical life. Impurities like deceit, like lust and greed and anger and hatred, those have to be counteracted by a moral, ethical life. As they would say in this country, clean up your life. As far as possible, clean up the life. Let it be a moral and ethical life. But karma yoga is beyond that. One can be moral and ethical within the limits of morality and ethics. I still pursue my selfish goals. Yeah. I'm paying my taxes, but I want to be a rich person who's paying taxes. I want to enjoy my life. I'm not going to overstep the bonds of decency, but I'm going to go out and party and have fun. So those are also self-oriented goals. It's still selfish. When I go from ethical and moral life to unselfish action, I am doing something for the benefit of others. When I offer a puja, I say, here is the puja I offer to the Lord. I don't want anything in return. I love thee, therefore I do it. So then action becomes unselfish. You see, otherwise what happens is, all our action, ethical or unethical, is basically meant to make this fellow happy. This bundle of flesh and blood, I think this is me, so all that I do, good and bad, is to make this thing happy. But here is the fundamental problem, that this is not me. So if you are going to realize that, I have to cut this knot of selfishness, which ties me to this body-mind. So a powerful method is to engage my body and my mind in unselfish action. Advaita Vedanta, finally what realization will you get? I am all of this. So why only act for the benefit of one particular body-mind? Then let my actions be for the welfare of humanity. Let my actions be, if you are devotionally oriented, let my actions be a puja to the Lord. So that is karma yoga. How does it help? It cuts at the very bond of selfishness. Why is selfishness a problem? Selfishness with a small s. What Ramana Maharshi is talking about, find out who I am, is self with a capital S. That self is common to all. But my selfish action is directed to this particular body and mind, or to that which is connected to this body and mind. My family, my wife and children and my relatives and my company, me and mine. That's what ties us deeply to this earthly life. That is the source of impurity. So that impurity sort of clouds the mind. The more unselfishly I act, the more I viscerally begin to feel, I am not this body and mind. This is just one body and mind. There's so many bodies and minds. What's so particularly special about this body and mind? Nothing. So karma yoga, by counteracting our innate selfishness, purifies the mind. It replaces selfishness, body-mind bondage with unselfishness. So that's how it purifies the mind. It's a very, very powerful tool for purifying the mind. It's a pure mind which can be concentrated by meditation. And it's a concentrated and pure mind which can immediately grasp when somebody like Ramana Maharshi says, find out who I am. It grasps it immediately. Not only grasps, holds on to it. Many of us, we get it, then we slip away from it again. Thank you very much. I enjoyed this session. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.
Namaste to everyone. Swami Vivekananda once said, my faith in younger generation, modern generation, out of them will come my workers. They will work the whole problem like lions. So in this regard, in order to instill the value of service, renunciation, faith in oneself, and the concept of human excellence, based on the life and message of Swami Vivekananda, to undertake publication of books, journals, periodicals, research paper, and digital contents, to organize study circle, youth circle, talks, workshops, seminars, conferences, and activities on Swami Vivekananda for all walks of life. Mangalore University established Swami Vivekananda Study Center on the auspicious birthday of Swami Vivekananda on January 1st, 2021. Under the auspicious presence of Pujya Swami Jitakamanandaji, Pujya Swami Mahamedanandaji, and Honorable Vice Chancellor Shri Edapadikayaji, Mangalore University inaugurated Swami Vivekananda Study Center and its dedicated office and the small museum is also there on Swami Vivekananda life of Swami Vivekananda. So the Swami Vivekananda Study Center has decided to conduct Vivekavani, a series of lecture on the life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda on every 12th of a month. So in short while, we are about to hear the 5th lecture of this series by Dr. Vivek Modiji, a corporate trainer and keynote speaker from Hyderabad. So now I call upon Professor Shripati Kalluraya sir, convener of Swami Vivekananda Study Center, Mangalore University, to welcome the gathering and the speaker of the day. Over to Shripati Kalluraya sir.
Thank you, Ranjan. Good evening to all the participants here and guest speakers here. On behalf of Mangalore University and Sri Ramakrishna Math, Mangalore, I am privileged to welcome all you to this particular program. As Ranjan was mentioning, our Mangalore University is having around more than 22 study centers, and few like the Nehru Study Center and Vivekananda Study Center, Ambedkar Study Center, Women's Study Center, like that. And Vivekananda Study Center is started very recently in 2021, and we are very ambitious to carry on with the various activities under this center, because the need of the hour to Indian system is to build a value-based institution. And rightly, today we have Dr. Vivek Modi with us to deliver the 5th continuous lecture series program, the 5th of the lecture series program. And I think he being a well-experienced corporate trainer and has been conducting workshops for various training programs and maybe the human excellence programs, he is the right person to agree with me that the need of the hour among the Indian youth is to inculcate a value system among them and to build a value-based institution. Whether it is the politics, whether it is economics, whether it is sociology, whether it is cultural things, we need an institutional base without which our society cannot grow. Even we have basic resources too much compared to other advanced countries. So value system, and based on this, the institutional strength is the call of Sri Vivekananda, and that has to be inculcated, that has to be extended to the younger generation in the present day, and that is the need of the hour. And we have right person here to motivate the Vivekananda value to build institutions and inculcate values among youth, Dr. Vivek Modi from Hyderabad. And on behalf of Mangalore University and the Vivekananda Study Center and the Sri Ramakrishna Math, Mangalore, I welcome you profusely to this lecture series program, Dr. Vivek Modi. And also I welcome all the members of Sri Ramakrishna Math and the faculty members and all participants in this particular lecture series program. And we have good participation in the last 4 that we completed on every month 12th, the inaugurated day of the Vivekananda Study Center. And I welcome especially the Ranjan, who has been taking a lot of interest in arranging this program. And we have our Chandru Hegde, the Special Officer of Mangalore University, and all faculty members of Mangalore University and other participants. I welcome all of you to this lecture series program. And I request Dr. Vivek Modi, he is by profession a doctor, but turned into an educationalist, a good trainer, and also maybe a good orator to inculcate good values among youth in the country. So I welcome once again and request you to give this special lecture, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks to Shripati Kalluraya sir. Thank you so much. Dr. Vivek Modi is a medical doctor, MBA, MBBS and PG, DHA by education. After working with the corporate organizations for about 6 years in 2010, he decided to become a full-time professional speaker and wellness educator. So today he is a highly sought after speaker, keynote speaker and a corporate trainer. He conducts his workshops on holistic wellness for professionals across the India. He is also a certified trainer from Dale Carnegie, India. So he is also closely associated with Vivekananda Institute for Human Excellence in Ramakrishna Math, Hyderabad. So now among with us, Sri Dr. Vivek Modi is going to address on the topic facing challenges in the current times, the Vivekananda way. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjanji, and thank you, Professor Shripati Kaluraiji, for having me here and giving me this opportunity to share my views on the topic. Before I proceed, I wanted a note of confirmation whether my voice is loud and clear or not. Ranjanji, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Is it audible? You can go ahead. Thank you.
Fine. Thank you. So, all the distinguished faculty members and students and other distinguished members from the Mangalore and the team, the wonderful team of Swami Vivekananda Study Center. I have seen Bangalore has been very close to my heart. Mangalore has been, whenever I come there, I often, I actually sometimes likely even tell Ranjanji, I increase my weight by, a couple of kgs and go just in 2-3 days because of so much of love and affection at the mission there and center there. So it's really a very pleasing moment for me to once again connect with the audience there. Now, before we proceed, let us do a very small prayer. I'll just do it and you can do it silently at your place. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's move towards truthfulness. Let's move towards the light of knowledge and wisdom, and let's move towards realizing our immortal nature. Om, peace, peace, peace. The topic is facing challenges in current times. Now we can see this topic in two different perspectives. When we say current times, it could be told in the perspective of, in the view of world. The world is facing the challenge. There is a pandemic raising. There is the challenge to the economy. There is trust deficit. There is warmongering, fanaticism. These are the challenges in front of the world as such. But if we look at from a different angle, what are the challenges for an individual, for a common man? Then we come to know about some other challenges. I often, being in the profession, I keep talking to people, and whenever I ask them the challenges, they say there is challenge related to career, there is challenge related to health, there is challenge related to relationships. All these are the challenges a common man faces, his finances, his economy, all those things. Now, how do we handle these challenges and how do we understand the reason of the challenges? If you look at Swami Vivekananda's thought process, if you've read his life and his letters, I have always felt that his thought process was always beyond the surface. More than the effect, he could always analyze the cause. So, unless we look at the causes, the treatment would, in medical language, would be only symptomatic. And that's not the role of a good doctor. So I too have this hobby or habit of contemplating, thinking, figuring out why so many people are facing this problem. And I come to conclusion, in the interest of time, to the three key features, three distinct features of the current times, the times we are living. These are three distinct features of the current world we are living. What are these three distinct features? And then I will tell you, because of having these three distinct features, majority of the people would follow certain pattern in their behavior, in their thought process, which will create few challenges for them. So what are the three distinct features of today's world? Let's understand. First feature, very clear feature, is fast pace of change. The world is changing so fast. This is a very clear feature. If you see, things happen in haste today, things happen very fast. Till January, or we can say December 2019, the world was a different thing. And in India, through March onwards, we entered as if in a completely different times, completely different era. This COVID thing happened. Within a year, we have at least half a dozen good vaccines. Can you see the pace of change? Vaccine, I mean, anybody related to medicines will understand vaccine manufacturing can take somewhere up to 20 years, at least 10 to 20 years. This is the average time of vaccine manufacturing happens, but we have done it in 1 year. If you see the way a business comes up and a business goes down in today's world, it happens in months. Earlier, it took years. Everything happens so fast in today's world. This is first distinct feature of today's world. No matter what knowledge we gain, the knowledge becomes obsolete very fast. There are new things coming up every day. New options are coming. So the second feature, first is fast changing pace. I will come to the challenges just after understanding these three distinct features. Second distinct feature of the world is it gives us so many choices, abundance of choices. Take the example of this Zoom meeting. How many options a person has to actually decide from? Should I go on Zoom? Should I go on Microsoft Teams? Should I go on Google Meets? Should I go on, there are dozen very good softwares to choose which to connect from. If you go to buy a t-shirt, a shirt, a mobile phone, no matter what you want to buy today, you have plethora of choices. So many choices. You just go on Amazon, that app, and you keep on clicking. And there are hundreds of options available in everything. If a student has to choose career today, again, so many choices. These were not there 2 or 3 decades back. The choices were very limited. You go to a restaurant to eat something, again, you will find so much on the menu card. Menu cards were not so long, couple of decades back. Okay. So the world provides so many choices in today's world. That is the second distinct feature. Okay. Third distinct feature of the today's world is it tends to overload us with information. It tends to overload us with information. The quantity of data we consume is unfathomable, unimaginable. Every day, the number of content, the quantity of content goes in forms of videos, documents, blogs, audio, so many, is simply unimaginable. So much data consumption is happening. I'm not talking about internet data. I'm talking about the information which we are consuming. The number of videos we see, the number of social media things we go through, so much is being consumed. So these are 3 distinct features. Okay, there are some more, but in the interest of time, I want to keep it up to 3 so that we can have some time for questions at later end. So now you may think, what is the problem with these 3 things? Okay, if change is happening fast, if we can create vaccine fast, if we can bring things faster, it's a good thing. If we have so many choices, it's actually freedom. I can choose what I like, and a lot of information is not a bad thing. So at surface, it looks it's not a challenge, but I want you to understand it from a different angle. First thing, when the change of pace is so fast, please listen to it carefully. When the change of pace is so fast, it breeds impatience. It breeds impatience. We go through a psychological shift where we start expecting things very fast. So today we are experimenting how to get fruits from the mango tree within first year or second year. We want to even short circuit the nature. Okay. We want to do everything fast, whether it's with nature or against nature. A person who just passes out from his college wants to do the job or wants to do his business, wants to become a millionaire in a couple of years. They are not planning for one fun decade. They are not like Narayan Murthy's who had not got anything for almost first 10 years. who are patient enough to wait and do things systematically. No, I want result. If you look at the challenges of the industry today, ask any HR person, one of the key challenges, high attrition rate. People join and people leave. So many people join every year, so many people leave because lack of patience. They want everything quick. They want everything fast. So this creates a behavior where our youth want to get fruits before developing roots. We want things at cost of maturity. I don't want to spend time on maturity, but I want results. Okay. I can simply watch, as doctors also we face this. I just go on Google, read for 10 minutes about something, and I talk to a doctor as if I'm another doctor. I argue as if I know everything. With that shallow knowledge, I tend to think that I know everything. And this impatience will harm the person in every way. Why? Because it will breed short-termism. People will not be able to plan for long. Short-termism. We plan, today's youth not even plans for 1 month. Maximum 1 week. Otherwise 1 day, 2 days. That's it. Beyond that, they know that I cannot plan. Things will change. Okay? And this is visible in every area. Short-termism. Short-term gratification. Anything significant, if I have to do, I need to have the temperament to wait and do things systematically one by one. Anything significant requires its own sweet time. But when I don't have patience, I short circuit things. I go into things which may be unethical. I try to short circuit things, short circuit market. I try to cheat people to make money faster. And later on think that I will donate and I'll feel fine with that. So impatience also create issues with relationships. People don't have patience. Okay. So children don't get time of the parents because parents are busy in their WhatsApp messages, in their Facebook messages, in their YouTube videos. They don't give time. No patience. We want our children to be like Einstein by age 5. We want to give them too many courses. We want to overload them also with the information. Where is the time? Where is the patience? Obviously, this will create trouble. The moment I go to hospital, in 1 day, I want recovery. Otherwise, I will sue the hospital. I will shout against the doctor. I know how many people in COVID, they suffered because they were not having enough faith and enough patience to deal with their treatment chart. So within 1 day, they are going with one doctor, then they are going with another doctor, confused man, no patience. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what will happen. Why are they giving vaccine? Why are they giving this? No patience to sit and read and understand the situation. Impatience is a big trouble for today's generation, for today's times. And because of impatience, as a chain reaction, so many other problems. So that's the first challenge. Second challenge, I told you, plethora of choices. That's the second distinct feature of today's world. So many choices. So at surface, we think it's a good thing to have so many choices. I want idli, I will eat idli. I want dosa, I'll have dosa. I want biryani, I'll eat biryani. Otherwise, I want chapati. Whatever I want, I can have. Yes, it's a good thing to have so many choices. There's nothing wrong. What is the problem with it? The problem is when I operate out of impatience, when I operate out of immaturity, when I do not have maturity to make choice and stick with it for a certain period of time, then having too many choices will lead to confusion. It will lead to confusion. So I have joined one job. Now my heart and soul has to be in that job if I want to really perform at my peak. But no, while I'm doing this job, I'm looking what is my friend doing. I'm looking what is there on the social media. I'm looking at the other aspects. And because of that, what will happen? I will not be able to give my 100%, a confused person. I will go to some other place. Let us say I want to buy something. I want to go and buy a sari. That man has shown me 10,000 saris. Somehow I have selected one. But after coming home also, I'm thinking I should have bought that one, not this one. Confusion. With that confusion, I will not be at peace, even though I have made right choice. People can take right decision, but if they do not have the conviction in their decision, if they do not have the clarity of sticking with their choice for a certain time, having too many choices are actually bad for such people because they don't have maturity to deal with the choices. You give them 2 choices, they're happy. They should go in a hotel where there is no menu card. There is a tiffin system. You eat whatever is there. They come happy because now they are not comparing. Otherwise, I am at my job, but I am looking at my friend and I think his job is better. Every day I look at into my plate and my plate looks worse than others. This is the tendency because we do not have the maturity to deal with so many choices. And you can see this reflection. The sincerity goes down. When things are available in abundance, we do not realize the value. And it's visible in every day. The casualness, the sense of casualness. I will change my life partner. That has become the casualness now. Why the divorce is like this? And when this thought process comes, the mind starts entertaining different thoughts process. What happens with that? My hands are not where my heart is. Mismatch. I am in a job, but my heart is somewhere else. I want to prepare for IAS, but I want to do that also, that also, that also. Yes, we are capable of doing anything, but we are not capable of doing everything. You have to understand. This is a big confusion problem with a lot of people. And because of that, the problems happen. Third thing, overload of information. So there is this man called Simon Benson or something. He gives a beautiful quote. He says, overload of information, abundance of information creates poverty of attention. Abundance of information creates poverty of attention. So what happens with this? Loss of concentration. Loss of concentration. Swami Vivekananda spoke a lot about fearlessness and focus, concentration. In fact, he told the difference between man and man is his degree at his degree of concentration. Difference between man and animal is also the same, he says. No power can withhold if we sustain concentration, focus, if we apply at something, no problem can stand. But when we do not have focus, when we do not have concentration, we cannot do anything worthwhile. My ability to stay focused at one task for a long time has gone down. Now I may be very capable, but I cannot execute things because I keep on shifting. Swami Vivekananda says an untrained human mind. In his book Raj Yoga, he says an untrained human mind is like a monkey, not an ordinary monkey. What is the nature of monkey? Keeps on jumping here, there. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Like a monkey, which is drunk, bitten by a scorpion and possessed by a devil. That kind of monkey is an untrained human mind. When overload of information happens, it's like indigestion of food. I eat more than what I can digest. What will happen? It will create issue. Similarly, when I consume more information than what I can digest. See, digestion is not just understanding. There is one step ahead. After you have digested the food, you need to assimilate the food. You need to convert that food into human cells. That growth has to happen. Similarly, after I have consumed the knowledge, that next YouTube video, that next WhatsApp message, that next article which I have read, I just don't have to understand and write a comment about it. I have to do what we call manana. Manana. I have to actually internalize it. I have to see it from my own viewpoints. I have to test it. If I don't do it, it is only going to create indigestion. It is only going to create confusion. It is only going to make me lose my concentration and focus. And when I don't have focus, I can have all the abilities in the world, but I will never be able to bear fruits out of those abilities because I have lost the ability to apply my skills. I am skillful. There are many youth, extremely talented, extremely logical, extremely capable, but they are not able to stay focused at one thing for a long time. Therefore, they are not reaping benefits. So that's third challenge, which comes because of the abundance of information. Now the question comes, Swami Vivekananda's way of solving this problem. How would Swamiji solve this problem? How would Swamiji solve these three challenges? So I try to assume, I try to, think probably what he would have thought. So if you read about Swamiji, you come to know that one thing he spoke about, Atma Shraddha. Atma Shraddha. We do not have an equivalent word in English. So we may equalize it with self-confidence. Now you may think how this is a solution for impatience or confusion or lack of focus. See, we have to go step by step. You will understand how these problems can trigger a solution for everything. Okay. So Swamiji's idea was, and before I explain that, I want especially the students to make a note of this. Please write this. Our actions are always in alignment to our identity. Please make a note of it. Our actions are always in alignment to our identity. Whatever identity I assume, my action will be naturally in alignment to that. It will naturally justify my identity. Right now, I have taken the identity of a speaker. Therefore, my expectations and my action will be that of a speaker who is speaking, and my expectation will be my listeners are going to listen to me. They are going to ask me questions. That's my expectation because I've taken the identity of a speaker right now. Now, people who are listening there, if they have taken the identity of a seeker, then they are absorbing, then they are listening. But let us say if somebody is just observing, there is another channel going on, there is another tab open, there is another YouTube video going on, message going on, they are observing. The identity of an observer, they will observe and leave it. They can benefit only that much. There may be somebody who is comparing what he is speaking, what other speaker is speaking. They will end up becoming judge. Okay. Whatever identity I take, my action, thought process will be influenced by that. Now let's understand about the Atma Shraddha. What is the meaning of Atma Shraddha here? Okay. Why Swamiji told or gave so much importance on it? Why did he told this quote that come up alliance, shake off the delusion that you are sheep, you are souls immortal, spirits free, blessed and eternal. You are not matter, you are not body, matter is your servant, not you the servant of matter. Why did he say so? Why did he say that atheist is not the one who doesn't believe in God? Atheist is the one who doesn't believe in self. Why so much emphasis on Atma Shraddha? Why did he told to his Western audience that you are not born sinners, you are Amrutasya Putraha, you are born divine? This Indian thought process, Swamiji had a very, very clear mind. While he appreciated Western thought process of managing things, scaling things, organizing things, materially growing, technologically growing, he appreciated that. But he knew the bottom of it, at the root of it, has to be spiritual ideas. Otherwise, world cannot survive. And he knew whatever problems are coming through material, Indian thought process, spiritual ideas which come out of our Vedantic model will have the solution for the world. That is why he was nationalist. He was not nationalist just because he was born in India. Now let's understand about Atma Shraddha and how will it help us in solving the problem very quickly. So I told you our actions are in alignment to our identity. Okay. If my identity is I'm a body, I'm mere body, physical is my dominant identity and nothing beyond it, nothing spiritual about it, then I'm perishable. Then I have the quality of fear. Then I have the quality of impatience because body is not permanent. Spirit is considered permanent. Okay. These are all very at foundational level, they create a behavioral change in a person. Okay. Then if I think that whatever I am doing, that's it about my life, my actions are going to define everything about me, and there is nothing other than the physical aspect of it, then my thought process is going to be very limited. I cannot empathize with other people because at body level, me and any other person is different. Only at spiritual level we connect. At body level, me and nature has no connect. At spiritual level, they are all connected. At body level, I have no connection with other person. But at spiritual level, we are all one. There is one light shining through all of us. There is one energy. And once that comes, what happens? The patience is a natural byproduct. You have patience with your kids, but you don't have patience with other children because your kids are considered as mine. Mine. There is natural love. Therefore, I can tolerate more of my kids, but I cannot tolerate more of the same mistakes of other kids. Why? Because I have made them mine by the feeling of that love and natural affection. Swamiji used to cry when he thought about the lakhs, the millions of people sleeping hungry every day in India, even when he was in America. Why that thought process? Because spiritually he felt connected. We are all one. Guided by his master, that was very clear in him. Now that is what gave him the confidence. Now you may be thinking, what is the relation of this with confidence? There was a childhood story of Swami Vivekananda. You know, Swami Vivekananda loved one character, Hanuman. Swami Vivekananda had picture of Sri Rama, and he used to play every day, you know, as a child. One day he came to know during a discussion somewhere that it was actually Hanumanji who did everything for Rama. Okay, and he was very much fascinated when, you know, Hanumanji was realized about his true power. So Swamiji was very much fascinated with that incident. You know what he did? He removed the picture of Rama and he replaced it with Hanuman picture. Look at the thought process of a young child. He told, I have to realize my own strength. I also have to be like Hanuman. I have to realize I'm not just this body, I'm a spirit. Okay? And this helped him to deal with his all kind of logical arguments which he had against everyone. Okay, so it might have become little complicated for us. Let me simplify it further for the interest of the students especially. Okay, what will happen with this? Let's understand at deeper level. Okay, if I become more patient, what will happen? If I become conscious of that I am not just body, I am a spirit, and at surface level we are all one. How will it help me? Let me help you by giving some other example of it. Okay. Once I realized the true identity, like Arjun was having a problem during the war. What was his problem? It was an identity problem. Okay, it was not skill problem. Arjun had no doubt that he could not fight against all those people. He was the warrior of warriors. Yes. What was his problem? Identity problem. Identity from being a Kshatriya who was to fight for righteousness, dharma. Suddenly he became, identity is, oh, they are my cousins. Oh, they are my, you know, family members. They are my teachers. How can I fight? Identity problem. Krishna did not tell him, see, you are very strong. You are brave. You are the best archer. You can fight like this. No, Krishna knew the man has the skill and knowledge and everything. The problem is with attitude, because his identity he has forgotten. He had to remind him, you are a Kshatriya and your first dharma is fight for righteousness. We have tried our best to avoid this war. But now, since we could not avoid it, you have to follow your dharma. Once the identity shift happens, and he also reminded that even if you want, you cannot kill anyone. You are just killing bodies. You're not killing the spirit. Nainam chindanti shastrani. He told him, the spirit never dies. Okay. With that, Arjuna was resurrected. With that, the energy came. With that, the patience was back. That yes, I have to do this. I have to fight out with this. Okay. So now let's understand the second point. How do I overcome the confusion problem? How do I overcome this too many choices and what to choose and what not to choose? How do I understand that? For that, the remedy what Swami Vivekananda gave is find out the truth yourself. Find out the truth yourself. You know when he told this? When as a young child, you know the Champaka tree story. These children used to play in the backyard garden on a tree, Champaka tree. They used to, you know, hang upside down. And someone told them that, you know, there is a Brahma Rakshas. It will come and break your head if you climb on this. All the friends of young Narendranath got scared and ran away. But they saw young Narendranath again going and doing the same thing. And then they, in fear, told, Narendra, don't you know that there is a Brahma that it will kill you? And came down and started laughing. He told, think for yourself. Don't believe what people say. If Brahma Datya was there, we are playing this game for so long. Why didn't it come till now? Find the truth yourself. What happens with the youth today is when there are so many choices. Now listen to this line carefully. Most people today make their choices, make their decisions by imitation and not by contemplation, not by conviction. They are taking their decision by imitation. What's in today? Oh, my friends are taking computer engineering. Let me take computer engineering. There is no contemplation. There is no conviction behind it. Because everybody is doing, let me do. Convenience of choosing majority. If there is a lot of crowd in one store, everybody tends to go there. There may be another store beside, but they think, "Arey, itne log yahan se le rahe, when so many people are taking, let me also choose this." They end up going there. When we take decision like sheeps, when we just choose the herd mentality, oh, everybody wants to be IAS, I also should be IAS. Everybody wants to be doctor, I also should be doctor. I don't contemplate. I do not have the conviction. I do not think. I do not try to find out my own truth. Vivekananda had this ability even to question Sri Ramakrishna. He told him on his face, I think you are hallucinating. I don't believe there is something like this, whatever you are doing. You are mentally not having the balance. This is what he told even to Sri Ramakrishna. That kind of clarity in thought process he wanted. And once Sri Ramakrishna made his doubts clear, the surrender also was complete. Surrender was not there because, oh, there are so many disciples, oh, there are so many people following him, let me also follow Sri Ramakrishna because there are 10 more disciples. Narendranath was least bothered about how others are behaving with him. Narendranath spoke his mind, and that's what Sri Ramakrishna liked. That you test. You don't believe a word I say, you test. And once you test, once Vivekananda tested everything, he understood, unless I surrender, I cannot fathom. What I'm trying to judge is much bigger, much larger than my logical realm. And then his surrender was also complete, unquestionable, lifelong, without any doubts. That's where he got his conviction. And every time in his later life as a sannyasi, when he got stuck, it was his guru's guidance which guided him. It was Mata's guidance which guided him, because the faith and surrender was also complete. He understood there are certain things which are out of my logical realm. I have to take a leap of faith. And that too he did with conviction, not blind following, not because, oh, that Babaji, there are so many followers, let me go there also. That Babaji has too many followers, let me go there also. This book is being recommended by so many people, let me do also. No. He read Western logic, then he read Western philosophy, then he read all European modern and ancient history. He went through everything. It's not that he did not consume so much information, but he always passed it through the filter of his own logic and understanding. He knew who is writing it. He knew what is the purpose of writing this book. He could filter everything. He could see everything. And it is because of that, he had tremendous conviction in whatever he did. That is what created the impact on 9/11/1893. When he stood up and just told that sisters or brothers of America, this similar line was actually told by a couple of more speakers. But they did not see that kind of conviction. When Swami Vivekananda stood up and spoke that, it was instant connection. Because the man was not speaking from a book, from a written speech. He was speaking from his conviction. His decision was, whatever he did, it came out of complete faith, complete surrender, complete conviction. Not because of the herd mentality, oh, everybody is doing, let me do. So the students need to realize today, if you are choosing a career option, if you are choosing why to do this and why not to do this, please ask some simple question. Am I just being a follower just because 10 people are doing this? Am I doing because of that? Or have I done some solid introspection? When was the last time you sat for contemplation, asking some solid question to yourself? Swamiji did it almost every day. He asked these questions. Have you seen God? Have you seen God? He has gone to so many people. He didn't just leave it, oh, because my father is so logical, because my mother is so spiritual, let me believe whatever they say. That's not Vivekananda. Because everybody is worshipping God, let me also worship. No, that's not Vivekananda. That's not Narendranath. And that's not he wanted the youth of India to be. First, he wanted you to believe that, to understand that you are Amrutasya Putraha. You are spirit immortal. The moment you shift this identity, there is unimaginable energy and faith you get. Because you understand this body is just temporary. The quality of fear comes in the body. It's not spirit's quality. Spiritual person cannot be fearful. That's why Vivekananda was absolutely fearless. So, second thing is conviction. I told you, you have to contemplate, you have to think, you have to question, and then once you understand, then you have to move ahead in the life. And if you don't understand, seek guidance, keep on seeking guidance. We have forgotten the art of staying with our things, staying with our questions. We have forgotten the art. If we don't get the question wrong, we just leave it. If we don't get the answer, we just give any simple conclusion. If I don't understand the virus, I just say, virus is fake. It doesn't come. I just see a WhatsApp video and there is one person saying, vaccination is dangerous. I start believing that. Another person says, no, vaccination is important. I started believing that. Then I get confused. Kyun? Baba, you are not using your mind. You are lazy to understand the logic. And you do not even have the clarity. That if I don't understand the factor much, I don't have to be a doctor. At least whom should I believe? A person who understands vaccine, he will tell me about vaccine, or a person who doesn't understand ABCD of virus, he's telling anything and I should believe that. When I don't use my mind, I get confused. And this is happening today. WHO is telling it's not just a pandemic, it's an infodemic. All sort of videos circulating. Somebody's telling, if you take vaccine, you will die in 2 years. 2 years, whole country will die, whole world will die. You've seen those videos, right? The amount of misinformation and disinformation we pass through, and some of the so much highly educated people simply forward it without understanding that I may be biased. Maybe I have to verify this. Put lemon in your nose and COVID will go. Arey wah. This whole world is just mad. Take this and COVID will go. And this is doing. So many educated people are doing this. So this shows that we have stopped thinking. That's what Britishers wanted us. Britishers wanted us to first lose the identity. We don't feel proud of being an Indian. An English-speaking person suddenly feels superior among all the local language-speaking people just because his English is good. And meekly our people surrender just because they cannot speak in English. They feel they are inferior. This is what Britishers wanted. Britishers wanted us to feel low of our Indian identity, Indian dressing sense, Indian culture, Indian festivals, Indian food. And this is what exactly the current generation goes, because they didn't want us to think. Because if we ask question, why are we longest standing civilization? Why are we having so many customs? Why there are so many people of different variety and different kind of cultures, religions can stay together? Are we not very tolerant? If they would have started asking question, Britishers wouldn't have survived here. They brainwashed us. Macaulay wanted us to our brain to wash, and he succinctly did it. So we need to understand that Swamiji actually gave that remedy for us. And the last point, and after that I'll open it for question. The last point was, how do I overcome this problem of focusing? Because I am not able to focus. That's again a big challenge with so many students, that how can I focus? And Swamiji was popular for his concentration. The way he used to read books and he could recite things, Encyclopedia Britannica, he could recite everything. I mean, so much verbatim. Sometimes even with a paragraph with a comma and full stop. How could he do it? You have to understand that Vivekananda's idea of concentration was, number one, purity. And when I say purity, I'm not just talking about brahmacharya and chastity and all that. I'm not talking just about that. Yes, there is purity in character required, no doubt. But his emphasis, if you see from today's point of view, for many people, it could be not having conflicting intentions. Conflicting intention. I'm sitting and watching this talk, but my intention there is, oh, I have to cook this there, I have to cook that there, today I have to do this. Somewhere my intention I have not surrendered myself for next 1 hour to this talk. My mind will not remain focused. I have kept unanswered questions in my mind. For example, I'm sitting here and in my mind I have kept, what will I cook today? Okay. The mind's nature is, it always searches the answers of the questions you give. That's the mind's nature. You give it a question, it will look for the answer. Before you go on Google, your mind does the searching. Okay. Now I'm sitting in a talk, I'm listening something, but my mind is busy in answering the question, what should I cook today? What should I eat today? Where should I go after this? What movie should I watch? Something. When I keep this conflicting intention by doing something, there is no purity now. There is mismatch. And with that intention, I cannot get focus. And the second thing, for developing concentration, especially for students, it's like a muscle which you can build. How do you build muscle in gymnasium? You go and you work on it. And you work on it and gradually it improves. Similarly, purely from the academic point of view, if people want to improve concentration, it's simple. How long can I sit without deviating from the point which I want to study? Okay. If I'm studying, if I'm sitting and reading something, how long can I hold my attention? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, how long? Okay. And if I can do it 5 minutes today, my next aim should be 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. If I keep doing it consistently, my concentration will improve. It's very simple. It's like a muscle. But for that, first of all, when I'm sitting, I have to have purity of my intention here. That I'm sitting to study, I am very clear in my mind, this is the time for study, and I do not have any conflicting that, oh, I have to watch the movie also, oh, I have to go there also, I have to call that person also, I have to reply to that email, I have to, visit that friend. All those intentions I'm keeping, and now I'm reading. My mind cannot be focused. I have to surrender. Next 1 hour, I surrender myself for understanding this particular topic, for reading this. And then once I surrender, my mind is available for things which I'm offering. And once it is available, the receptivity is high. And now I start studying. And if I do this consistently and keep on increasing the time frame, my reading speed, my focus, my concentration, my sitting power, everything will increase. Swamiji could read 1 page at a time. He had the ability to read first couple of sentences and last couple of sentences and make sense of everything. But this came with a lot of practice. If you see his life, he was a voracious reader, kept on reading, and he was not bothered about what world spoke about him. If you look at his mark sheet and all, he did not get, first class, first university topper. Although all the teachers recognized it, this person is prodigy, is something extraordinary. But he was never bothered about marks and just passing and certificate. Who remembers what qualification Vivekananda had? No. When he went to World Parliament of Religions, he didn't even have all the documents which may be required, bona fide. Because people ask there, how can we allow you to speak there in World Parliament of Religion? Where are your certificates? Where are your letters of recommendations? He didn't go with that. It was just there that Professor Henry Wright, he just spoke to Vivekananda for a few minutes and he could understand to what person I'm speaking, whom I'm speaking. And you know what he writes in his recommendation? This one man, this one monk from India has more knowledge than all our professors put together. And then he also says later on, asking credentials from this person, Vivekananda, will be like asking the sun to state its right to shine in heavens. It's like asking the sun, do you have the right to shine? Vivekananda did not show him certificates. Okay? It was visible in his presence, in his way of talking, in everything. Whereas our generation has become too much dependent on papers, certificates. Okay? Even teachers today need to realize this. Very, very clear. We are not in an information age anymore. If as a teacher, I think my role is to just give information, knowledge, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. Better information and knowledge is available today on platforms, animated way, and no matter how good information you are giving, it is available. That is not enough for today's students to feel valuable in our offering. Then what is important? It is the presentation of information. How can I make my topic simple, memorable? How can I make it presented in a way that students will love it? That's my duty as a teacher today. That will make my student focus and love my subject. Okay. So I told you about 3 things: the problems of patience, which can be solved if there is an identity shift. Because whenever we operate out of fear, there is no patience. Whenever we operate out of calm, whenever we operate out of this identity that I am already complete, I am the spirit and this is just a game I'm playing with this human body. This is just a presence, okay, for this lifetime. When I can understand that and try to see this shift, my fear vanishes. Fear is in the undercurrent of impatient person. A person who is fearless usually will be patient, will have that calmness. Okay. For confusion, how do I overcome confusion? I told you, make choices not by imitation, but contemplation. Then you will have the conviction in your choices. Then you will have the maturity to make a choice and stick with it for some time. Okay. After you make a choice, you have to discipline yourself that for next 6 months, I will not look here and there. I'll stick with it. I'll choose to be choiceless. Then only we can make our decisions correct. And the third thing, as I told you, how do I overcome the problem of lack of focus or concentration? Of course, it goes without saying, if there is overload information, I have to cut down that. I have not even mentioned that, but that's very natural. Okay. If I'm consuming information without contemplating, just taking on, it will create indigestion. What I have to do is, first of all, I have to see that there are no conflicting intentions when I am doing something. Okay. And second thing, I have to build my focus muscle, concentration muscle by daily abhyasa, practice. Abhyasa is very important in Indian thought process. Abhyasa is sacred. If you see anybody who has achieved repute, maybe a cricketer, a musician, they do riyaz, they do net practice. Okay. Even after playing for 20 years, an international cricketer, it may be his retirement day, but that morning he'll go and do his net practice and play the match. Because abhyasa is sacred. For us, in today's world, we have probably missed that that kind of practices. If we start doing that, slowly the focus also develops. So with this, I stop here. Thank you so much for listening to me very patiently. And if there are any questions, I'm open to take it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We do have a couple of questions. I just opened the WhatsApp group where the people registered their name to attend this program. I have some of the questions with me. The people can also ask the question directly to the resource person by raising the hand. I can unmute you and you can ask the question directly to the resource person. You can raise the hand. Till then, I'll just ask the one question from Abhikshit Rai. He's from Mangalore. He's the coordinator of the reputed college in Mangalore. As more than the COVID issues, I believe people experience a lot of psychological and mobile addiction problems, especially in the students. So according to you, what kind of solutions or activities can educational institutions can do to overcome this kind of addictions and the psychological problems?
Yes. Abhikshit, wonderful question. And even I like the way you have phrased the question, because you are asking the solution and you are not just mentioning the problem. So here, as you have mentioned in the question itself, that what kind of activities the organizations should do so that we can come out of this problem. So we have to always give an alternative. Okay. Till I have the best alternative, my mobile in front of me, which will give me the entertainment, knowledge, or what I want, I would give up the lower one. So I have to find out in my life, in my daily routine, something which can give me more value than my mobile phone. It can make me do that. And in my view, the best thing, some of the things which I would suggest or I can think of, which institution level and personal level we can do is, number one, developing at least one hobby. When I say hobby, something which you do at regular basis. Okay. Hobby could be music, could be painting, could be writing, could be dancing. It could be anything, but indulging into it on daily basis, which we love. Okay, obviously. Then getting into team activity. Now, obviously, in pandemic situation, you are not allowed to be on ground with team. But anything which is done with a communion, with a unit, like you can get associated with organizations like Ramakrishna Math is there. Okay, many other organizations are there. If you get associated with them, let us say Vivekananda Study Center is there. Now you see, youth here is involved in something productive. They have given themselves a high ideal. They have given themselves a purpose. They have to conduct these many lectures. They have to do this. Now there are 10 different things they are doing. Ranjanji might have delegated, okay, you will look after social media aspect. You will look after a template. You will connect to the people. You will invite. All these people are involved on a mission level. What happens when we are involved on something very purposeful? It automatically gets us rid of anything other than. Because anything doing purposefully with a sense of purpose, and purpose which is a little beyond me and myself, will always liberate us. Will always at the end of it will make us feel good. You know, even I am involved in so many such activities, and I know when we do a program and when we are involved into it for 15 days, 20 days, and after doing it successfully, the kind of satisfaction it gives, it is simply it's very difficult to express in the words. So when we go through such experiences, we realize that short-lived happiness which comes out of just watching the next social media post, then doing something purposeful, which will give a long-lasting fulfillment. Once I experience this, it's easy for me to detach. Otherwise, yes, mobile addiction is a big problem today. Nomophobia is an actual thing today. No mobile phobia, and in the attention economy, the world is trying to take our attention. Okay, your Amazon, Google, Apple, day and night they are doing research to take more of your attention. So it's up to us. How can we get rid of it?
Thank you, sir. As you rightly said, have a one habit to improve ourselves and to involve with the team, socializing more to overcome the psychological issues and mobile addiction. Thank you. I'll go for the next question. Mrs. Subhadra, but she's a teacher. She asked a question, a very interesting question as she's a teacher. How to make youngsters develop a habit of reading books they straightly go to Google. We didn't realize how time flew. The very useful points, as she also appreciated you. Sir,